extra special episode of Doctor Who The Fan Show. We thought it best before we crash into Christmas to reflect on Series 10 and finally analyse Top of the Locks. Joining me here on the TARDIS is, fresh from the internet, Luke Spillane and journalist and Doctor Who.tv editor Cameron K McEwan. Welcome, guys. Hello. On the TARDIS.
This is great, isn't it?
It's really hard to concentrate on this discussion.
Yeah.
There are so many buttons
to press. With the fact that we're on the TARDIS, we could just
because
go.
Of all the buttons and
we
switches.
could just go straight. We want to see Series 11 now. It is very distracting.
Yes, it is.
Amazing to be here.
Let's start off by talking about the new companion, Bill, played by Pearl Mackie.
I mean, I think first of all, she's probably, from my opinion, she's been the best thing to happen to Doctor Who in years. I think she's been amazing. Not that that's not a negative side on the show. It's just been such a breath of fresh air to have Bill, but also Pearl. Like Pearl specifically has brought so much to the role of Bill, and it's just been so exciting to watch every week. It's not just about where are we; it's about watching Bill's reactions to everything, and I've loved that.
Even up until the end, she's asking all these questions. She's acting in ways that are quite refreshing and quite new, challenging the Doctor. So that's what makes her journey so fantastic, because she was so different, and yet her end.
Yeah.
Cry.
But what a brilliant end.
Stephen said this before. Doctor Who is a happy show. It's a show for families. It should end that way, and it's nice that she got that ending.
I was really, really chuffed about Bill and Heather getting together at the end of the series, just because Bill has so many awful dates throughout the series, and I just thought, oh, Bill.
I mean, Puddle Girl, as some of us call her. She's not been there apart from the end of the first episode, the pilot, and when she leaves. But there's that tear which Stephen very cleverly put into episode 1, and I love the fact it was Bill's choice to go with Heather. The idea of Bill, as you say, being a Cyberman, ostensibly she had died becoming a Cyberman, so living a life in that wonderful way is fantastic. And who knows, I wonder if she'll return for Chris Chibnall's series.
Yeah. I mean, somewhere out there,
possible.
Bill and Heather are meeting up with Clara and Ashilda,
right?
And they're having a great American burger in the Diner TARDIS.
Or they go to a parallel universe and meet Rose.
Yes.
And Doctor 10.1.
It's a spin-off waiting to happen.
And let it not be said that it was amazing to see a companion who was different, a companion who was diverse, who was, like ladies this series. We had that, and that was so good. We got to see her on dates. It wasn't something that was just sort of mentioned and then we didn't see any of it. And the fact that at the end, what I'm coming to is that she gets her love with Heather and we get that kiss, and it's great, and it's like, yes, Doctor Who doing it right.
And of course, Bill isn't the only companion in this series. We've got Nardole. Nardole. We've got Nardole, who is just absolutely brilliant, so funny. I think he's been such a blessing to this series.
He's a kind of friend to the Doctor, but almost like a colleague.
Quite early on, I think we do realise that he knows a lot. He knows how to pilot the TARDIS. He knows about the Doctor and Time Lords. Yeah,
I don't think we've had a companion like that in New Who, have we? We've very much kind of had your Romanas, or your K9s, or even your Adrics, who kind of, know how to work things, can sort of get on and not ask questions. Even people like Nyssa, sort of, just on a sort of level with the Doctor in terms of technicalities. And it was nice to see that again in New Who, but actually have fun with it. We actually don't know much about his backstory, which weirdly I've really liked. I've really liked him just sort of functioning and being amusing and being brilliant and being so wonderful to watch on screen, but never really even wanting to have it all explained. I do not doubt that he has adventures of his own during the night. Once the Doctor's out there guarding the vault, he's in here and going, right, off I go.
He goes off on fun, safe adventures.
Yes. I'm sure they're very safe. I'm sure Nardole's version of the Fires of Pompeii, as he walks out, realises he's in Pompeii and goes, I will leave. That's nice. Yeah, this is nice. And I'm off. One thing I would like to point out is it's just so nice to have a TARDIS team. I love TARDIS teams. I think I'm a sucker for a TARDIS team.
It changes it, doesn't it? The dynamic
Dr. Rose with Mickey, Dr. Amy with Rory. I mean, Dr. Rose with Jack. I love a sort of 3-people TARDIS team. It's a really nice balance.
What do you think is different about that?
I mean, I think the third person always allows you to have a bit more fun.
Normally when you have 3 in the TARDIS, it's the other 2 and the Doctor, and often there's a lot of comedy if it's like Amy and Rory having a bit of fun at the Doctor's expense, him being all alien. But with here, Bill is pretty much by herself, and Nardole and the Doctor
that's really true.
They're their own little double acts, but it doesn't really affect too much the Doctor and Bill's relationship.
Yeah, and then we have that amazing Team TARDIS in episode 11,
I mean,
where
I
you
want a whole
have Missy,
series of Missy in
Nardole,
there,
the
yes.
Doctor, and Bella.
Yes.
When she comes out of that TARDIS
Yeah.
scene, she's Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Oh man, now what a moment.
I think Missy is one of the most bizarrely wonderful things to ever happen to Doctor Who. She's been amazing to watch in Series 8, Series 9, and even more so in Series 10, just because I think, for me, we see such a wider range of emotions in a different side to that character.
I think it was a really nice next step to take the Master in with Missy. I think the beginning of her story in Series 8, you very much had the basic premise of that whole story is her giving the Doctor a gift, and so you're like, warning signs there. She's trying to tell me something here, and then we've seen the progression of that story to the point where we get to her being good in this series, which how interesting has that been to watch? Because out of all of the Doctor's enemies, I think Davros tricked us last series, but out of all of the enemies, Missy, the Master, was always going to be the one, I think, who comes back round to being the Doctor's best mate.
What I actually really like about this is that she has turned good, it's actually happened.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, I was gearing myself up to be like,
is.
oh no, it won't happen. Oh no, at the last minute she'll
Yeah.
turn. But she does.
Yeah.
However, the Doctor never sees it.
That's the thing, that's the saddest thing in this whole series. The Doctor thinks when she leaves that she was always going to be bad again. Missy has become good, but only Missy could stab, only Missy could kill her previous self, which that's something not a completely good person could do.
They found it so brilliant that this had happened. They both
love it.
killed
They
each other,
absolutely
stabbed
love
each
it.
other in the back, and they thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And that is amazing.
For Michelle Gomez, those 2 episodes were just fantastic.
Yeah.
She got to be Missy to the extreme right from the get-go, from saying her name was Doctor Who.
Doctor
Yeah.
Who. What a way.
And
what a
her
way.
takedown of the companion/assistants.
Yes, yeah.
Everything she did was just wonderful.
She's so brilliant, and she's like Peter. Is so sometimes just so subtle, and it, her face just speaks, 1,000 words. For instance, when the Doctor's shouting at the Master, she's just there looking over his shoulder.
Well, the expertise of Michelle Gomez is how brilliant she is at balancing both comedy and serious, especially in this series, because we've seen her go from, emotional scenes where she's being executed to, what is it? She wakes up and is like, "Don't touch me!" She's brilliant at kind of balancing the humour. But this series, we've got so much more of her crying and real emotional stuff for her to get herself stuck into. What I really enjoyed about this arc was the fact that it's not a case of ta-da. It's a case of it's Missy. There's another story to tell
Why
here.
is she in there?
What's going on? Why is she here? Why is she under the Doctor's guard? What did she do to, have this execution? Everything like that. And there's so much more in it, which makes it more interesting. You get to go into the actual vault in Lie of the Land, a really great shot where, Wayne Yip's directed, the doors open up into this massive, I don't know, I was going to say throne room, prison that Missy is in, living room, come gas heaters and you get to enjoy that reveal quite a few times, which I think is really nice.
I think the other thing it did, from the Doctor's point of view, he gave up being Doctor Who to go back to the Earth, to the UK,
It grounded
to
him,
Bristol.
didn't it? Nardole had a role in keeping him there, keeping him on Earth.
Yeah.
He was trying to escape and trying to go on these adventures, and all of those things sort of connect, but they happen because of the art.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Missy isn't the only Master. John Simm! I love John Simm from his previous episodes with David Tennant, and I remember him being announced and thinking, that was just so exciting. And then obviously on screen, seeing those two together. The finale, The Doctor Falls, where it opens on Missy and the Master dancing.
Only the Master would find themselves utterly attractive and end up in a form of relationship with themselves. I think you could sort of see it happening, couldn't you?
What I thought was really good about John Simm coming back was he went old school Master
I was
in
just
World
going to say
Enough
that.
in Time.
Yeah.
Disguise, we love the Master in
brilliant.
disguise.
Because John Simm's Master has had his own story told, a great story by Russell from Last of the Time Lords through to the End of Time, and that story was kind of done, and it was brilliant. And now getting him come back, you get to have more fun with that because we've got Missy as a new Master, and so John Simm's Master can be in the same way that the War Doctor in Day of the Doctor was kind of a sort of epitome of classic Doctors. His reaction to the new Doctors was kind of, why are you talking so fast and waving your Sonic around? Here we get John Simm's Master in a classic disguise, and we've no idea why at first. He's just enjoying himself.
So he spends 10 years down there just for the enjoyment of seeing Bill get turned into a Cyberman. That is dedication.
He's so typically the Master, John Simm's Master. The things he says, which are quite unkind when Bill is the cyber person.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's really rude to really horrible about women.
Yeah.
The way he talks about them. There's that great line, is the future all women?
Yeah.
And then the Doctor says, well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Also,
he's taken the prosthetic off and been shaving brilliantly for when the reveal actually happens. She's going to turn up any day soon, and this is going to be so worth it.
John Simm's performance as the Master is quite different. He's not that mad.
Well, the drums, the sound of the drums set him
driven mad by these drums,
into that, become that Master. And so now we've seen him at the end of his regeneration. The Time Lords have cured this. The drums have gone, and now he turns into Missy. He's about to turn into Missy. So it all ties up.
Oh, it's so satisfying when it ties up like that.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
2 words for you guys. Peter Capaldi. Pepe!
He's touched this console.
It has been blessed.
This was a tremendous series to go out on. I mean, of course, we still have the Christmas special to enjoy, another hour of Capaldi greatness. But this year, he has just been on top form throughout. He's had so much to do. Stephen's given him such great things to do, some light things, some lovely stuff in the university, and then when he finally decides, I'm just gonna go out into the universe anyway. His interactions with Bill completely different to what we've seen with Peter before, and then this wonderful stuff in the finale.
My new favourite speech of all time, my new favourite Doctor Who speech, and this is true. The finale where he tries to talk down the Master and Missy, he basically sums up the character of the Doctor and why he does what he does.
Yeah, absolutely.
He might fail, but it's not about success. It's about just doing what you can, because it's a kind thing to do.
And I love the fact that in The Doctor Falls, Stephen's given him this very heroic. He's taken down all the Cybermen in the forest. He's got his Sonic and he's taken them down and he's
brilliant.
It's wonderful. Because Peter hasn't had that kind of...
Not action like that, no, absolutely.
Well, Stephen said the Doctor doesn't normally have action like that. And having those moments sparingly, it means that, wow, this is a big threat. But it's so lovely to see because it's so rare and it's in slow motion, which is even better.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Rachel Trelale.
I quite enjoy seeing Doctors change over periods. The 11th Doctor had a very kind of defined change. He went from being the Raggedy Man to a bit more sort of, for the 50th anniversary year, he was very much a sort of archetype of the Doctor. He was all of a sudden tailcoats and waistcoats and fob watches, and so there was a little bit of change there. I mean, the 4th Doctor had quite a big change. The 4th Doctor kind of by the end of it visually was quite different and a lot more moody by the end of it. That man who comes down these steps in deep breath and says, I've lived for 2,000 years, and then he comes here and he's very sort of slimlined, like, I don't know, this sort of clean-cut Doctor, and he's very kind. I can't imagine that Doctor doing what happens at the end of the Doctor Falls, fighting all those Cybermen and running around everywhere. His Doctor has evolved, and I've really enjoyed watching that.
I think what's allowed Peter Capaldi to play that kind of Doctor is having a new companion to show off to. Because that's what he is doing most of the time.
His Doctor has also been grounded for a while, which puts actually a really nice angle on episodes like Smile. I think there's a really nice thing in there in that the Doctor gets really excited in Smile to blow up the city. The Doctor's showing off to a new companion, but also, how long has he been in this university for? This is the first time he's been on an alien planet in yonks, and he's like, I'm going to save the day. I've been doing lectures for years. I'm gonna show off and do something brilliant, and I really enjoyed that. So he has a new dynamic in this series, which I think is what changes him so much.
Yeah.
I think also, just a couple of episodes on in Knock Knock, he's trying to be the cool...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's trying to be her friend, and then she calls him Granddad.
Like,
and he's down with the kids, listening to Little Mix. Who isn't these days. He's down with the kids there. He's trying. And that's hilarious stuff from Peter.
Series 10, there's quite a lot of standout performances for me. Definitely David Suchet as the landlord, and new monsters like the monks as well. They were amazing. They looked incredible and really, really scary. What about you guys?
Well, talking about the monks, one of the scenes from this series that's stuck in my mind is that moment in the pyramid at the end of the world where they're in the plane and about to attack, and the person turns round and then it's suddenly a monk. It really made me jump.
In the plane.
Yeah, it really made me jump.
Yes.
So they were excellent. The wood monster, Eliza.
I mean, for me, a particular favourite episode for me, and as a result, the sort of cast and the monsters was Oxygen. They were just so brilliant at creating this dynamic that you believe that they've been existing and going about this terrible problem for a while. The zombie monsters in it, it was in space, we had lots of gravity stuff, like it was just everything a Doctor Who story should be for me, well, that I enjoy from a Doctor Who story. But then also for me, Empress of Mars, because we had Ice Warriors and we had Araxa.
Araxa was awesome.
She was so good.
So good.
Female Ice Warriors.
I did love seeing the Mondasian Cybermen.
I mean, also, how can we forget the Mondasian Cybermen?
And I love the fact that we saw them getting, you see them, the genesis of their look, and they look so good on screen. Another performance I really enjoyed was David Bradley.
Yes, seeing
the
him.
original, you might say. Yes.
What a surprise. I mean,
that was amazing.
What a way to end a series by, like, not only are you like, oh my god, the regeneration, oh, it's Peter, like the 12th Doctor's going, and oh wait, there's the first Doctor.
Yeah. So again, Stephen subverting it, we think we're going to see Doctor 13. Oh no, we see Doctor 1.
First Doctor. Brilliant.
A standout performance for me, Peter Capaldi's hair, which has got a life of its own, and I think at this point we should analyse Top of the Locks. Roll Sting. Let's just put those markers in on the Series 10 Top of the Locks board. Now, that is a very busy board, so let's dial it down a bit and focus in on the Doctor. Cameron, what do you think?
It's been an interesting trajectory for Mr. Capaldi. At the beginning, a little bit low down, a few of his co-stars maybe being a little bit cheeky, but he has a very, very strong finish.
A bit more of a mixed picture for Bill. She started off really strong, but then dropped with that helmet hair, and then dipped even further by episode 9 with a ponytail. And of course in episode 11, she articulates being shot through using her hair alone.
She's quite the companion, a hair-raising adventure no less. And what about Nardole? A real grower this year, unlike his hair. Way back, Stephen Moffat told us that Nardole had invisible hair. And then PCAP, he said that lots of men had invisible hair.
But there has been an upward swing with the series of amazing invisible hairstyles, hats, and of course, Matt Lucas told us his hair grows inwards, resulting in a very hairy mouth. And finally, a disappointing picture for Missy. Despite shedding the uptight Mary Poppins for a pineapple updo, she doesn't quite break through mid-range, and even by the end, gets outdone by predecessor John Simm. So that was Top of the Locks. Agree? Disagree? Furious? Mash the keyboard in the comments below. And now over to Luke in the internet.
What?
Yeah, go on then.
Where is the internet?
Go down there, third door on the right, past the hair floofing machine, and turn left at the swimming pool.
Turn left. Okay.
Chop chop.
Oh, sorry about that. Just took a little dip in the swimming pool and used the hair floofing machine. And oh, they're playing my song. Yes, Gallifrey Forever 97 was one of the first to respond to our request for remixes of the old PCAP M-board. Thanks to everyone who sent one in. They were all weird and wonderful in their own special way. Right, to business. Bethan dotted and dashed her way through these twitty portraits. Neve painted this lovely John Simm watercolour. And Jackie the Robot speculated as to what the Master's TARDIS looked like. Love the Master's interior decor, including an armchair, a Picasso, and a skull from the Cheetah Planet. Meanwhile, Lloyd sketched this frankly uncanny likeness of Peter Capaldi. Tash gave us this beautiful pride flag wrapped bill. And Space Junks tugged our heartstrings with these iconic quotes. Don't, you'll set me off again. Right, let's talk about Cybermen. Jalen emailed us this amazing picture of a Cyberman. The action figure workout team have been flexing their creative muscles with some models, and Sir Mufig impressed us massively by making a pencil cyber sketch into a soundboard. To clarify, he used science magic to make a drawing come to life. Wow. And finally, George gave us this truth. Well, the Doctor has been eating a lot of crisps lately. And so let's look ahead to Christmas. The Cyberdevil treated us to this poster, 5 months ahead, keen, and Dr. Puppet recreated the official publicity photo. And that's it. Thanks to everyone who's tweeted and emailed stuff in to Luke and the internet. Sorry we've not been able to show it all, but please do keep sending things in and we'll try and share as much as possible. Well, I'm off to read this. Thanks to Andrew Mark Thompson for the wonderful cover, and I'll see you back over there on the TARDIS in a bit that we definitely didn't film 10 days ago.
Well, that's the end, but the moment has been prepared for. We'll be back very soon with all of the usual fan show nonsense. In the meantime, click here to rewind and see all of the after shows from Series 10, and to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel, you can click here. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.